New details now on a Target 12 investigators exclusive historic mistake. New tonight, we reveal how the state tried and failed to fix a major problem in our state's archives. Earlier, Target 12 uncovered how millions of Rhode Island's most important records, hundreds of years of history, are being stored in a damp basement that's prone to flooding. And we have the numbers on what officials thought it could cost taxpayers to fix the problem more than a decade ago. Get inside access to the Massachusetts archives and their vastly different operation there. Target 12 investigator Tim White has the exclusive details.
This was supposed to be a temporary location to store Rhode Island's most important records. The state leases the building. It's owned by former Providence Mayor Joe Paolino's corporation. But temporary has turned into a quarter century. Millions of records, the state's most treasured documents. Some within just 20 feet of a sump pump in an endless struggle with rising water.
It is something that preys on your mind when you're responsible for the survival of the records.
State archivist Gwen Stern says when a major storm is on the horizon, the staff swings into action. So this is the type of situation where if a storm came in, these boxes down here, you'd have to move up or get out of here, correct?
Yes, during Hurricane Sandy and Irene, we removed every single box from the bottom shelf and moved to a higher location.
We would like to at some point change that.
Secretary of State Nellie Gorbea has prioritized getting a new permanent location for the state's records. And in a worst case scenario, documents like that could be destroyed.
Absolutely. That is our biggest fear, is that we will lose these documents to future generations.
Gorbea says Rhode Island is the only state in the country that doesn't have a permanent location, unlike Massachusetts, with this 100,000 square foot fortress of a facility in Boston. The Massachusetts archives are a stark contrast to Rhode Island's. The Commonwealth's historical treasures are protected by 8 climate-controlled vaults to Rhode Island's 1. And many documents are on display. Compare how Massachusetts showcases their copy of the Bill of Rights, sealed to preserve it forever, to Rhode Island's, tucked away in this plywood box. I have to imagine as an archivist that makes you hyperventilate to think about a situation like that.
It sounds far less than ideal, something like that. Clearly, you know, it's going to raise red flags.
Michael Como is the executive director of the Massachusetts Archives. He says the Commonwealth is actually in the process of expanding their facility.
They are our cultural heritage, they're our shared memory, our collective identity. They should never receive short shrift for any purpose.
In 2004, Rhode Island attempted to fix the situation by moving the state and judicial archives into the Cranston Street Armory in Providence. The cost, $12.3 million. But voters rejected the bond referendum 2-1.
My advice to the people that can help them is understand the priority, and understand the importance of what you're doing, and give them what they need. If you give them the resourcing, yes, if you give them the resourcing, I'm certain that only good things will result.
Rhode Island pays nearly $21,000 a month to Paolino's company to rent this building. Now, the state also pays a monitoring company at $180 a year to alert officials if any of these sensors peppered throughout the basement detect water rising. With the Target 12 investigators, Tim White, Eyewitness News.
You can head over to our website to see the difference between the Massachusetts and Rhode Island archives for yourself with our interactive photo gallery. You can also see how much the state has paid in rent each of the last 25 years to store its historic documents at this location. It's all on WPRI.com.